Hey, everybody. If you have watched The Millennial Farmer, then you know I've got a pretty righteous Thunder Creek fuel trailer out here. Thunder Creek fuel trailers are built by farmers for American farmers. Right now, a lot of farmers are taking home fully loaded Thunder Creek trailers that are in stock near you with an average of only $1,300 down. Financing is, of course, subject to approval. You can check out thundercreek.com for product info, some stories from the field, and other great deals. That's thundercreek.com.
What's up?
It's Quick Dick.
What's going on?
He's on my computer right now. Look at Randy, it's Quick Dick.
What a world we live in, eh? Look, you guys are looking pretty damn fancy there. You got mics and shit. And
you should see the rest of the room is a complete tornado field, man.
Don't believe anything you see on the internet.
You've got a cool logo behind you.
Yeah, you got a kick-ass logo.
You know what? I actually had to change it. This is just, I keep this hanging here because I've got a green screen behind it. And this is like a cinder block wall. I'm in my basement right now. So this is as extravagant as things really get.
We are all in the basement right now. That's where we are at. That's where the last guy was at.
So in all reality, if a tornado hits or a force majeure or something like that, we're probably all going to make it.
It's just like planning ahead. Quick Dick. All right. First, before I forget again, we should say who the guest is, which is Quick Dick McDick, and we're going to get into why his parents named him that. And he's a farmer and correct me if I'm wrong here, Mr. McDick. You are a farmer in Tufnell, Saskatchewan. Did I say that right?
Got it, man. Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Not Saskatchewan.
No, it's Tufnell, Saskatchewan.
See, I was up in Regina a couple of years ago, and they gave me a good 30-minute lesson on how to say Saskatchewan.
And more or less, you were just focused on the name of the city, Regina, making all of the funny jokes that you can with the name of that town, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're almost.
I don't get it.
I don't know. Because it rhymes with pussy.
It rhymes with feline.
I don't know if it's because we're close enough to Regina or if it's because I've been to Estevan several times, but I knew that the city was called.
I'm sorry you had to go to Estevan too. That sucked for you, but
no, I was racing cars there. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but I didn't spend too much time in the city.
Okay, right on. You call it, Estevan is a city. It's something. It's something.
It is something. What do you farm up in Tufnell? I assume canola.
Well, we're it's a mixed farm, right? And so actually the name of the farm is the Bar Ranch. And it's owned by a guy named Mark Rogers, actually. And we've got about 4,000 acres and we've got 350 head of cattle. And we do a little bit of everything. So we're not doing oats this year, but wheat, barley, canola, peas. Yeah. And then we do a little bit of silage and we've got some alfalfa and a whole bunch of grazing land and everything. So yeah, we do a little bit of everything. We don't have pigs or chickens at this point in time. So
you going to get some?
No. Listen, chickens are a different thing. You got to have time. I feel like chicken people are more like just chicken people, you know? Am I saying that right? Person. Am I going to get in trouble by calling them chicken people? But
well, I've only had chickens as a hobby. I don't know.
I think that's
exactly what I'm talking about. It's like a different avenue, and you just like, oh, let's go get some eggs and whatnot, and then you can have a mass butcher every now and then kind of thing. And
I think you only get in trouble if you call them crazy, like a crazy chicken lady.
So I didn't, did I? Can we go back in the footage? Did I call them crazy?
I don't think you did. You just implied it.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh.
I said crazy, so we can add that in.
That's right.
I was never that crazy. I did name my chickens, but that was about the extent of my crazy chicken.
Did you say you were never bat crazy or that crazy? Because
that crazy. That crazy.
If it was bat, I was going to be like, we call it bat shit crazy.
We call it bat shit too. We're close enough to Canada. Hey guys, a lot of you know that I actually do a second podcast, which is called Fieldwork, We are back for an all-new season. We are now into season 3. My co-host, Mitchell Hora, and I, we talk about all things sustainable agriculture. As we like to say, it is a podcast that is done by farmers for farmers. This season, we tackle things like financing farming innovation. We talk a lot about carbon markets, new sustainability standards in crops like cotton, and quite a bit more. We're actually going to focus a lot on Washington County, Iowa, which is the county down in southeast Iowa where Mitchell actually lives and farms. They have a really strong conservation culture down there, so we wanted to go down there. We spoke with a lot of different farmers about what started that conservation culture and why it exists, why it's so strong there, and why does it work. So make sure you listen, check that out. Season 3 of the Fieldwork Podcast is out now. You can find it wherever you find your podcast. We are also at fieldworktalk.org and Fieldwork Talk on all the usual platforms. That's it.
Actually, Minnesota is not that far away. I had one of the worst breakdowns I think I've had in quite some time on a motorcycle 2 years ago in Minnesota.
Oh, well, I guess we got to hear this story.
Oh, I was on this really cool motorcycle trip. So I worked in the oil and gas industry in northern Alberta, Canada for like 20 years, right?
Roughneck?
No, not at all. I was in the completion side of things. And so it was actually in transportation. So it was more like a trucking company, but we did oil field trucking. Okay. And which took me all the way up into like the Arctic Circle and a bunch of different places. And it was such a cool job. But anyways, long story short, I wound up leaving that career and coming back to Saskatchewan. And in between my transition, I did this huge motorcycle trip, which took me all the way across Canada from one coast to the next coast. And I went as far down into Boston, down into the States, and then down into Las Vegas and over to California. We're all over the place. But when I was on my own, I was coming through Minnesota, and I'd left Postville, Iowa that morning. And I remember it really well because it was super nice. And it was like the first day I'd had where I left in the morning in a t-shirt. Like it was so nice out. And I was like, this is fantastic. So I'm cruising along and I make my way up into Minnesota and I'm coming across Minnesota. I can't remember the interstate that I was on, but I was like, man, it really looks like it's going to rain and get ugly. And like the clouds started coming in. I got no windshield. I got no nothing. Like I'm just riding, giving her hell. Right. And all of us, like, I was just like, it's chilly and I'm starting to get goosebumps. I'm like, I don't like how the sky's looking. I maybe put a jacket and some rain gear on or whatever. And so I did that and I got riding and it started raining and it started raining hard. And then it got to the point where I was like, this is an obscene amount of rain. And the wind was blowing and, I was like leaning into the wind. So I'm riding like kind of half sideways. And like there's lightning everywhere. And I feel like I was in the middle of a hurricane and I was getting quite worried. And I was like, there shouldn't be a hurricane anywhere near here because we're kind of inland. And and I found I got behind this big truck because I drove truck before. I was just like, I'm just going to get in like his little wind tunnel that they pitch off the back of their trailer. And I'm just going to hang out there and ride this thing out. And hopefully this guy knows where he's going because all I could really see was his taillights and whatnot. So it's hailing a little bit and I was going to try and hide under an overpass, but then all of a sudden you could see this break in the weather off on the horizon. And I was like, oh, thank goodness we're going to make it. It's going to be fine. So things started calming down a little bit. Everything's okay. And all of a sudden it's just like a light shower. The wind is gone. I've rode through the eye of the inland hurricane and everything's going to be fine. Right. So I'm like, well, it's time to shit and get. I'm going to get out and get around this truck and start making some miles again here. So I drop a gear and wheel out and pin it. And this motorcycle of mine just goes, it just makes this horrible sound. And all of a sudden I got nothing. Like it's not driving. It's not doing anything. I can't shift a gear. It's just dead. And initially I went with the Saskatchewan go-to of some bitch, So, I pull it over to the side of the interstate and there's nothing. And does Jacksonville, Minnesota sound right? Jacksonville?
Jackson, Minnesota?
Jackson, Minnesota. I remember seeing a sign that I was like, the next exit was 2.5 miles or 2 miles, something like that. And I was like, okay, well, I guess they'll push this thing that far. So here I am in a pair of shit kickers and rain gear, and I'm just walking this motorcycle along the interstate there in the rain. And there's two guys stopped and they're like, hey, are you okay? And I explained to them what I got going on. I was like, I don't think you can really tow me. I'm just going to keep trucking her here. And I actually pushed that thing in the rain all the way up to this truck stop and started making phone calls from there and getting things figured out. And there's some guy who owned a towing company there, and he's sending his son that's going to come and haul me. I found a guy in South Dakota. I want to say it was Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Guy, the closest guy that could work on my motorcycle. That's the way I was headed. And this guy from this garage, he's like, I'll send my son. He's gonna come and he'll give you a lift there or whatever. We'll get you loaded up. I was like, perfect. So he comes, and it's like a 1995 Tahoe with this old trailer with 2 wheels on it. He comes wheeling into the parking lot. I'm like, please tell me this is not the guy. It's the guy. And he comes wheeling in, and he's like, you the guy with the broken motorcycle? I'm like, the only guy in the whole place with a motorcycle sitting beside it. I'm like, yeah, that's me. We get this bastard loaded up and strapped down with some rickety old straps. I swear this was happening outside of Tufnell, but I'm in Jackson, Minnesota. And this guy we're all loaded up. We're going to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we're about to leave. P.S. You guys have the best country in the world for the simple fact that you can buy beer at truck stops because you can't really do that much in Saskatchewan here. I get in the passenger seat with this guy, and he literally looks at me like something's wrong with me. And he gives me one of these. Let me give you an example. He's like this. He's like, where's your beer? I'm like, well, I don't know. Am I allowed to have a beer in here? He's like, you can have as many beer in here as you want. And I was like, well, hold on. I'll be back. So I go back, buy 6 tall boys from inside the gas station or wherever, and come back out, sit down and pop one. And I go to put it to my lips, and then I give him the old, do you want one? And he's like, well, hell yeah, I want one.
Oh my God.
It's the most I've ever felt at home in Minnesota ever.
Oh, that's good stuff.
We had a very electric drive to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. We traded some stories. I wish I could remember the guy's name. I've got it written down somewhere in the name of the garage and everything. They probably wouldn't be too happy with me if I shared it with everybody. So.
Well, that's the silver lining on the fact that your motorcycle broke down.
You know what? There's always a silver lining to everything. It doesn't matter what you do. Like, I mean, you just got to look to the positive side of it. And I met that guy, and we can't talk about the night I had in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
I won't ask.
Because it was pretty good too. But yeah, it was interesting. It was really fun cruising down around through the state. So Minnesota's really, like, you guys aren't all that much different down there than we are up here. It's not even that far.
I haven't been to Tufnell, but obviously I've been to Regina, Estevan. I've been to Moosomin. Yeah, it's not that different. So maybe it's a little flatter than where I'm at here, but
yeah,
like you go 50 miles from me up towards Fargo, North Dakota, and it's all the same.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Our milk comes in jugs here, though.
Randy, don't even get me started.
I had that written down for later.
Well, we can get milk in jugs, but we would rather get it in a carton. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you get in fancy places, you can get it in a bag, but that's more for people with like 10 people in their family and stuff. What's happening with the dairy industry down there? Is this where the whole Buttergate thing's happening that everybody's going crazy over? Or like, what's happening with
that? When you say Buttergate, so I don't do dairy, never have. My family's never been involved in dairy. Had cattle and hogs back in the day, but never been in dairy. But Randy grew up on a dairy farm.
Grew up in dairy, yeah.
When he says Buttergate, I think I got an idea what he's talking to. You?
I don't.
There's this whole thing going on right now where people are all butthurt that their butter's not spreading like it normally does or something like that. And then it's tracing back to like palm oil and diets of dairy cattle and everything. And I'm just like, I don't know what anybody's talking about. Like the 1 square butter that I've got in the fridge, I've had it for about 2 months and I'm almost to the end of it and it's still fine. So I don't know what the big deal is, but
that's amazing because we burn through at least 1 stick of butter every single day in this house.
No way.
Probably at more than that. Yeah, we go through a lot of butter. But we don't even bother keeping our butter in the fridge because we go through it so fast.
Who puts their butter in the fridge? Like, I don't even know why I buy it out of the grocery store in the fridge because it comes home and I just leave it in a little foil thing on the counter. And then when I want some, I eat some. So far, I'm still alive.
When I met Zach, he grew up keeping the butter in the fridge and he thought that I was trying to poison him when I left it out on the counter. And I'm like, it's fine.
I'm just full of stories. And this might not be that electric, but I lived with a family from Nova Scotia, Canada, like which is kind of like on the east coast of Canada when I was in Grand Prairie. And this lady, I didn't even know where I was living, but I rented a room in their basement and she would cook for everybody. And then I would be out working like late, 9 times out of 10, I would be gone till 2, 3 in the morning, come back in and then go to work at 7 or 8 the next day. But she would leave dinner out on the counter, not covered, not anything, not in the fridge. Didn't matter if it was chicken, pork, beef, it didn't matter. And she would just put it away the next morning. And there'd always be a note that said, just help yourself. So where I come from, my mother would have lost her mind and been like, you can't have it out on the counter for that long. You're going to get salmonella and all that stuff or whatever. And it's just like, but I'd come in at 3 in the morning hungry and I didn't care. I'd just eat it. And that led to a whole lifestyle of me from there on out, is just leaving shit out everywhere and not really caring about it. And so far, I'm okay. So you got to wonder, like, is the whole refrigeration thing kind of maybe overstated a little bit? Or
I think probably so. I'd agree with you on that. I mean, my experience has been similar. Like you don't, as soon as you're done with something, when I was growing up, you throw that back in the fridge. Becky doesn't operate that way. And I've pretty well grown accustomed to that. It doesn't matter what time of night
I wouldn't eat chicken that was left out overnight. I definitely wouldn't do that. Beef, I would question, but not chicken or pork. I don't know why, but.
Right. But I wouldn't eat that either. But like a pizza or something, or, the jelly, the barbecue sauce, whatever.
I'll eat that for days.
Yeah.
See, but I'm kind of cool with chicken and everything being left out if it's cooked. Like if it's raw chicken, okay. Like I'll kind of draw a line there. You know what I mean? But
well, then you can just give it the sniff test.
Oh,
like if it's raw and you leave it out, you can just.
If it's raw chicken and it's warmed up, chuck that shit in the garbage or give it to the cats. I'm not touching that. I'm scared of that.
I'm actually with you on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're headed for a bad day. You're probably headed for a bad day.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it gets warm and it's not because it was getting cooked, you got to get rid of that.
Yeah. That's true enough. Yeah. So okay, you guys are rocking the Coors and Miller lights there, or what's going on here tonight?
The Coors, the Miller lights. We had some of actually we got a box of the old, like the banquet Coors, the golden ones that we had earlier, but they didn't make it in the basement. Yeah.
Really nice.
Yourself?
Yeah. What are you rocking?
Well, I'm drinking Saskatchewan beer, Great Western. They brew it right in Saskatoon. They use 100% malt barley from Saskatchewan, which is
nice,
pretty awesome. So yeah.
Is it like 7.5% alcohol?
No, this is lights because I didn't want to get too lit while I was talking with you guys. I think these are 4.5s. It's light beer.
That's like a States beer.
Well,
yeah.
So it's when I'm not allowed to drink, I drink Great Western lights. Yeah.
When you're not
it's just like
it's
only 4%, so it's like you're not drinking anyways. So
yeah, it doesn't. Even water is like 3%.
Isn't Canada's beer like typically stronger, like your regular strength, like a non-light beer?
It's usually like 5.5%, 6% is what you usually find. There's some other stuff that gets really turned up, like Wildcats or some of that stuff that gets up into the like 7.5 and 8 stuff. But I don't know. I like running these because if you got one of these in the cup holder, when the cops pull you over, they're like, "Oh, I see you're not drinking. You're just having a Great Western, right?" You're like, "Yeah." No, I'm kidding. Like,
no, I thought
never drink and drive.
I thought in Canada they're not cops, aren't they? Mounties?
They're Mounties. Yeah, we call them cops, Mounties. There's a few other things that we call them, but I don't call them that. Actually, we got really good Mounties around here. They're actually we've got pretty good law enforcement here in Canada. Yeah, it's true. In most places, at least in rural Saskatchewan, we've got fantastic law enforcement. So
I would imagine rural Sask, Alberta, like that's pretty.
Yeah, the thing is
pretty much northern Montana.
Yeah, so like how does it work down there? Because like if you guys get a sheriff that comes into the county or whatever, that's like kind of a dick. Like, and I use that word loosely because my name's Dick, so I can kind of say it no matter what. And but like, do they get quite a bit of shit from like people around there, and they get straightened out and kind of know how things roll, and everybody just like everybody's cool? And
it does seem like it until you get to the federal side, like our fish and wildlife officers, our conservation officers. There's no give with those guys.
No way.
They got picked on a lot in high school.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. We've got really good COs. We call them COs here or whatever, right? But we got really good COs. Actually, one of them here actually hunts on some of my land here or whatever. And they're great guys. But like, there's kind of no room for dickwads around here. You know what I mean? Everybody's just like, you're kind of going to get along with everybody or you're not going to have a good time here. So
yeah, you're going to want to go somewhere else in a hurry probably. Huh?
That's right. But yep. They pick up pretty fast when you've got somebody that's not from around here that's here causing shit. They kind of learn that fast too. You know what I mean? So it works good. And I wish that law enforcement could work like that in a lot of different places, just for the simple fact that, and the Mounties do that a lot here. I don't know what they do down there federally, but like the Royal Canadian Mounted Police here actually get hopscotched around a lot of different communities throughout their career so that they don't get too comfy with one community, which I get, but I don't like it that way either. It's just if a person's a member of a community, they're kind of going to know who the jackwagons are and who aren't, and they're going to.
Yeah, it would make more sense that way. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I get why they do that, because they'd be like, oh, they'd pull me over. Quick, Dick, you had a couple drinks tonight? Yeah, I've had it. Well, I'm just going home, though. I'm right over here. Okay, well, we'll talk to you later. Well, a new cop in town ain't going to let me do that, right? Not that I'm insinuating that I would ever drink and drive, but if that was the situation that was going on, you know what I mean?
For the purpose of the story.
Yeah, for the purpose of the story, I was,
just had to make a point.
So what's like, you guys are doing lots of podcasts all the time or what? I think everybody's doing podcasts now. I feel like I need to do a podcast just to start a podcast.
It seems that way. It's gotten really, really maybe watered down. Yeah, there are podcasts everywhere.
Oh, wow.
So the podcast, this podcast started because I wanted to do something where like I don't have to filter myself at all, which is what my YouTube channel kind of became, which is fine. I can deal with that. But I also wanted to just sit down and have these conversations with people where you can talk about the Canadian Mounties not letting you drink and drive and stuff, right? And
those bastards. You know?
Yeah.
Man, I was going to ask you that. I feel like I'm taking over a little bit here right now, but I'm just going to roll it here. But I was going to ask you, like, you do a really good job of staying clean on your YouTube channel and like bringing information to a lot of people and just. I've really noticed, like, people up here even have been like, have you seen the Millennial Farmer? Have you seen the Millennial Farmer? I'm just like, yeah, I've seen some of his stuff. It's actually pretty good. And I've had a lot of like older people go, you should be more like that so we can watch all of your stuff and share it. Just like, no. That's probably good advice, right?
Oh,
I probably don't have to tell you this, but like, don't do that. Don't change your style, man, because you honestly have something that is unique. Like there's nobody else that I've seen doing the type of stuff that you do, which we'll get into it a little more here because I got some questions. But what you do probably takes a shit ton of work compared to what people see on camera, which I think is a case in most situations. But
I think that's the case
with what you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's the case in a lot of situations. There's a lot more to it. Even like, you know, someone will be listening to this podcast that you're doing. I mean, and you guys are going to have to go through and you're going to edit it and do all this different stuff. And then you're going to upload it on how many different platforms and everything. And it's time consuming, right?
Well, and it was really, really difficult to get through all of your people to get to you just to line this up.
Yeah, they're extravagant individuals. I keep myself very shielded to the point where,
yeah. You
know what? If my mom wants to call me, she's got to go through 4 levels of Quick Dick McDick production screening.
I don't blame you. As I laid in bed at 6:30 this morning, texting you and Randy, it was difficult. Like I actually sent you the message while I was sitting down peeing in the morning.
Now, is that a thing? Is that a thing about keeping the toilet clean, or what? Like, how well are you trained here? Like,
it was 6:30 in the morning. You know, like, so do you wake up first thing in the morning and stand in the dark to take a leak?
Like, yeah, but I live by myself, so it kind of doesn't matter.
See, but then you got to clean that up. I'm just gonna sit down, keep everything clean, sit there, check my Instagram, maybe shoot Quick Dick a message.
I might get in shit here, but BMA from my videos is actually my dad. And he's taken to a life of sitting down when he pees because he actually started cleaning the toilets every now and then. And he's like, I can't believe I did this to your mother for this many years. Yeah.
I have tons of friends that bitch and complain about their toilets in their houses constantly having pee on. And I have to say that is something that I have never had to deal with in my house. And we have a boy also. And Zach, whatever he has passed down, I am thankful for because it's not a thing in our house.
We got good aim.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but I saw that, and I don't know where I saw it. I can't keep track because I honestly, for a guy I don't watch YouTube or any of that stuff very often, right? Unless I'm trying to fix something, and then I watch it religiously because
I'm the same way.
Yeah, that's what I use it for, and apparently to upload videos. But anyways, I don't know where I saw it, but it was some guy had his wife who was quite upset that he had been making a mess on the toilet all the time. actually gave her a garden hose to hold between her legs, and he was like controlling the faucet, and gave her a pail to hit with the hose, and he's like, well, you try it and see how easy it is, kind of thing. So he like off the start, he like cranks it open. It's just like, and he's like, ah! So she gets it under control, and she's hitting it. And then he slowly starts turning it off at the end.
Oh my God.
And she's like, I didn't realize it was that hard. I thought that was pretty funny, actually.
We haven't even gotten into like who Quick Dick is here, besides a farmer in Saskatchewan.
Yeah,
Quick Dick McDick is another YouTuber, but he does not do YouTube videos like I do. This guy's he's fucking funny.
They're pretty hilarious.
Yeah, they're really good. Like
No,
there's
thanks.
a lot of play on words, and like I get the feeling that you like, even though I can tell there's a lot of work in it, and you know what you're gonna say, and you rattle it off quickly, and it's entertaining, but you are 100% yourself when you're doing this. There's clearly no filter.
I'm pretty much me. So that, like, to a certain extent, and like there's like this conversation we're having right now, like this is me, this is who I am, kind of thing. And I like having fun with life, because we don't got a lot of life that we get to live here, and it's just too short to be walking around humdrum with a frown on your face. And you really need to look at things that you have going on in everyday life and be able to enjoy them. I remember for a long period in time in my life, even in the oil field, getting into management of oil field companies and stuff like that, it got to the point where you just couldn't find happiness anywhere, kind of thing. And I was like, I got to a point where I was like, life really shouldn't be that way. And I remember growing up here in Saskatchewan is that I was happy and having fun all the time. And, you know, since I've come back and just been like, that's how I want to live my life. You can really just have fun with everything. And even I've got to the point now, and it's almost like, you know, YouTube and Quick Dick is kind of an outro to a lot of the stuff where, you know, I'll have a day. It just happened the other day where I was going to plow a neighbor's driveway and put a couple bales out for their cows because they couldn't start their tractor because it was 50 Celsius below, and hit a bump with the tractor and smashed the latch wasn't quite right on the door, and it went flying open in the wind and smashed against the tire. And windy I kind of looked at, yeah, windy today. And I kind of looked at it and I was like, I laughed. I was like, well, son of a bitch. You know, like, I was like, oh, this will make a good Quick Dick. And like, and I think when people look at stuff like that and they see somebody else laughing at them, maybe when it happens to them, they're still going to be upset, but they'll be able to laugh at it a little bit too, because Quick Dick laughed at it. And I mean, really, like, what are you going to change? It's shit, and it happens, and it happened, and there's nothing you can do about it now, but just kind of laugh at it. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I mean, I completely agree. Like you say, on a situation like that, hey, I mean, what are you going to do? You fix it, right? It happened.
Last time I checked, you can't rewind and go back and not hit the bump as fast or change the wind or go back 2 weeks ago when you looked at that door latch and you were like, that thing is really going to fuck me one of these days. You know what I mean?
Today's the day.
So what do you do? Like you just, yeah, I'm generally, that's who I am, kind of thing in real life and every day. And I put a little bit more into it, kind of thing, when you're maybe on camera to do something. Like, you can make something that's pretty electric a little more electric, you know, just by changing your voice, or you give your eyebrows one of these, kind of thing, or swear a little bit more. And
you can tell that, you know, when I watch the video, I think everybody can tell that, but that's like you say, you're taking something electric and making it more electric. You're still Quick Dick.
Yeah.
You're not saying stuff you wouldn't say otherwise.
Straight up. Yeah. I just do my thing, and I don't know, people seem to identify with it. But I mean, I think the reason that people find it funny, or they're like, hey, that's kind of cool or whatever, is because it's everyday life kind of stuff. It's just what I do. It's what everybody does.
You had a video I watched earlier today, Coffee Row, I think it was called.
Coffee Row. And we were laughing so damn hard in the office. So it's the same everywhere you go. So we've got an old guy, Bob is our tillage guy, 82 years old. He's at the shop every day, all day. I already like Bob. Just to be straight, I already like Bob from this story.
Right, yes. Yeah. So he does our tillage in the spring and the fall, and he goes up for Coffee Row every day. It gets to the point where we feed him info to send up there with to see how long it takes to get back to us. We'll like if we're getting a new tractor, we'll tell them it's something else that we're getting, and then we send it up there, and then pretty soon, Dibdalls are buying a red tractor. We'll hear, and then we kind of take bets on how long it'll take to get back to us. And so we were laughing so damn hard when you did that video.
It's glorious. And I think it's really the same everywhere. There's a funny story behind the video, Coffee Row. I feel like there's a funny story behind everything. But anyways, so my mom is a fantastic individual, and she 100% is totally fine with everything that I do or whatever. I mean, I hope so. I'm a grown man and I don't live at their house or anything like that. But
that's not your mom's basement? Wait.
This Mom!
Mom, the meatloaf!
Turn the dryer off. I'm on a podcast here. God. Anyways, it's a small town in Foam Lake is actually like closest to Tufnell. It's like the major center where all the stores and grocery stores are and everything, right?
It's where you go for groceries.
Yeah, that's where you go
That's
for
how
groceries.
you know what the center hub is.
That's right. You go for mail in Tufnell, groceries in Foam Lake. Yeah, exactly. So anyways, there's a flower shop there, and she works at the flower shop sometimes because she doesn't do enough in a day. She's got to do something else to stay busy kind of thing. So that's what she does every now and then. Have you guys seen the video called Cock Your Bin?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. So this was immediately following the Cock Your Bin video, which there's about 10,000 views less displayed on it on YouTube actually had, because I had to take it down because we had to have a little bit of a heart-to-heart as a mother and son. I had to take it down. So I'd put it up there. But can you imagine this poor lady is in a flower shop in the town of Foam Lake, and she doesn't follow me on any of this stuff, or she did.
Oh, my God.
She does now. Some local person comes walking in waving their phone. Did you see the video quick called Cock Your Bin? Because she didn't know. And so that didn't go very well at all whatsoever. Once she started talking to me again, and I was like, we need to talk about what the problem is here. Why you won't talk to me anymore? And so I was like, okay, here's what's going to go on, Mom. So I showed it to her. I watched it. I explained to her the jokes I was making and everything, and how it's kind of an innuendo of what I'm doing. And I was like,
there was an innuendo there?
No, but I told her there was. So
okay.
I hope she's not watching this because, anyways. So I was like, here's what I'll do. I was like, I'm going to put that back up. I was like, but I will bet you that I can do a video without swearing and make it just as funny. I was like, if I put this back up, I'll do one that you will be able to go show anybody you want to on your own phone. So I got her linked into YouTube so she'd know when I put up a video and everything, and so she could watch them so no one would come in with information that she did not have already. And then I immediately did Coffee Row following that one and put it up. And then I just got a text from her, be like, that was fantastic. So from then on, Cock Your Bin has been safe.
Yeah, little Richard, you can come back home and live in my basement again.
And I was like, you're the one that named me Dick. Like, you started.
I was actually going to ask you that. Like, what's your real name?
So my real name is Dick. Dixon is my first name. So Dixon, Dick for short. So I've been a Dick all my life.
I could tell.
Yeah, I grew up that way, and my last name's DeLorme. So Dixon DeLorme is my actual name.
Well, I was going to add, typically we tell a lot of dick jokes off the husk, and it is a little awkward. You are our first dick on the show.
Are you telling me I'm your first dick? I've only been in this situation a couple of times in my life.
This is my
first of all, I'm going to ask you to relax.
Oh my God.
Well, I'm glad you were our first dick.
Well, you're the first that's glad I'm your first dick. I can tell you that. But I don't know why, like, where this all started off, why I picked Quick Tick McDick, but I tried using it on my Tinder profile, and I got nothing off of it.
That is weird.
Yeah, I think my Tinder was broken, actually.
I would guess is a Canadian thing, maybe.
Yes,
it might be. Might have been something to do with the data or the network here or something. I think because I didn't get any matches. Well, except a guy named Earl, and he didn't seem like he's my type.
No, you don't want to swipe whatever direction. You want to make sure you swipe the correct direction. I don't know which way you're supposed to go, but
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just put it down and just like made a running thing with my fingers on it to make it an easy process. And then somehow I matched with a guy named Earl, and his lipstick seemed nice, but I don't know. He just didn't seem.
We were at a convention with a younger kid. It was an FBN convention.
Yeah, I know exactly.
And
Yeah.
he's sitting there with his phone, and he kept saying, I think he was saying swipe left, sort later, or maybe it was swipe right, sort later. I don't know. You must swipe one way to put him in a queue or something. So he'd sit there and just as fast as he can swipe left, sort later.
Oh my God.
He'd invite them all, right?
He'd invite every one of them, and then if they accepted, then
later.
he'd figure it out later. Yeah.
This whole app world is taken off. You know, there's Tinder for all this stuff. Have you guys get stuff like down there where you can like order food with an app? Like
right here?
Not
No.
here. I guess in Alexandria, which is the big town 20 miles
That's where we
away,
go for groceries.
Alexandria is the grocery town. All right.
Yes. Yeah.
But
Yep.
20 miles from us, I think there's 3 companies now in Alec that there's Food Dudes and Uber Eats and another one.
Yeah.
In Alexandria?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
we're
Yep.
too far.
We've got one in Canada here called Skip the Dishes is what it's called. Which is,
Nice.
I
of
love
a
that
neat-
idea.
it's a
Yeah.
neat
They just
name.
bring you paper plates.
Yeah,
They bring you
it's,
food
just
also.
it's an app. You order from the restaurant, and they just bring everything in like a hot bag and drop it off at your place. And I was like, obviously, we don't have anything like that around Tofnell because you'd have to do it on a snowmobile, and then things would probably be chilly by the time you got them there. But
Ours do the same thing, but they deliver it in a bag.
yes, so like same kind of thing. But
I'm still trying to figure out how I work. Like my gears are turning trying to figure out the fact that Dick said hot bag.
you trying to call me a bag of dicks right now? Is that where this is headed to?
I wasn't, but damn it, your gears are spinning better than mine.
So they call this Skip the Dishes or whatever. And I had it hit me here the other day, and I want to come up with an app that has nothing to do with food. It's going to be a drunk driving app. So if you're at the curling rink or the local bar or something like that, you can hit this thing on an app, and we'll call it Skip the Ditches.
Yeah,
Because usually that's where you wind up if you try driving home from the curling rink after one or two
Yes.
meetings. So yeah, but we'll see. I'm looking for investors, so let's see how it goes.
That's funny if you're at the curling rink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yes.
We
We
got some
actually-
curling clubs, but nobody's been to them.
yeah. So what's going on? Are you guys what's happening like COVID pandemic wise down in your guys' neck of the woods?
Well, I'm currently upstairs with COVID in our house. So
Hold on, I gotta put a mask on my speakers so I don't get it from you.
Yep, you better.
not safe.
Well, you got the beard that should protect.
Yeah.
Actually, if I had my glasses down here, you can actually get it right up.
There you go.
If
Put a bungee strap around that.
you get your sunglasses underneath it and then put them on, you're good. Yeah. Yeah, it's way better than an N95. Yeah.
My guess is COVID here is pretty similar to rural Sask.
Yeah.
I mean, like if you go to Minneapolis, St. Paul area, or Duluth, you don't go in a place without putting a mask on because you're supposed to, you know?
Yeah, I gotcha.
But like
Yeah.
where we're sitting here.
Well, even from here west is way less than here east.
Yeah.
People are over it, it seems like.
Nobody cares
Yeah.
from here to Seattle. Once you get out there, they care.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, I got you. Is it like affected your guys' life very much? Is like as far as how things have gone operations wise, or
Well,
Not really. I'm an egg also, so in that aspect, no.
our kids' school has been dramatically affected, I would say. That's kind
I
of
bet it would
the
be.
biggest thing.
Yeah.
The school and the sports, kids sports. I mean, that's what's
Yeah.
been affected the most.
Are they letting kids play sports down there, or what's happening?
So Onyx plays hockey with a mask on. Like they have masks built into the helmets. But then they get in the locker room, they yank the helmets off, and they're spitting all over each other. You know.
Yeah,
Well,
they're doing
no,
this.
no. They can only tie their skates in the locker room. There's just so many, they can't bring their bags in. They can't actually change in the locker room. Like there's just so many crazy little rules that
Really weird rules. Parents got to have a mask on when you're watching hockey, but you can all stand together and go to the bar afterwards and take them off because you're eating.
Because that makes sense, right? Yeah,
Right.
yeah. I've kept away from doing any of that stuff on my channel or any of this stuff. It's tough on kids for sure. It's same thing around here, like high school sports, hockey, they cancel games. They've only got practices and you got to have a mask on the ice and stuff. And it just, I feel bad for the kids in this whole scenario for sure.
That's who I feel the worst for. The kids and then the elderly, the people that are stuck in the homes that can't get out, and
elderly especially.
God dang. Yeah. It's just,
it's another situation where just like I'm very, very fortunate. And this is another thing where, when you laugh at stuff and look at things that make you happy and you're having a good time, like I just appreciate the ability that I have right now to be able to continue to do what I'm doing, because it really hasn't affected what we do at all whatsoever. We started calving here a couple of days ago and we planted last year, we harvested, we hayed, like nothing changed. It's just,
right.
I'm just really fortunate that that's the case. And I haven't had to worry much about contracting an STD in the last little while because you're not really allowed to see anybody. So there's that.
Like, on the other hand, your forearm's been sore.
No, it's not. That's a tough.
There's a second there. I wondered if anyone else
back,
is going to
baby. That. No big deal. I remember how to do this, right? We were talking about arm wrestling, right? That's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
With masks
with
on.
a stranger.
Stranger arm wrestling. Yeah, that's great.
Everybody likes saving money, including myself, and a great way to save money right now is by paying 0% interest, which means you're actually not paying any interest because it's 0% when you're financing your inputs for next season. That's a no-brainer. Over at FBN Direct, they've got the 0% Club, where if you spend $35,000 or more on inputs through their online store by March 31st, you'll get 0% financing through FBN Direct all season long. Of course, you have to be approved first, but that's standard stuff. And for our friends north of the border, up in Canada, you'll need to spend $50,000 in Canadian dollars in order to get the same deal. Don't forget, membership at FBN is now free, so there's nothing holding you back from saving money on what you need for the growing season. Along with the savings, make sure you check out their other financing offers, crop marketing intel, crop insurance, and health coverage. There's nothing else for farmers like FBN, so go ahead, check it all out at fbn.com. All right. How did you come up with the idea of Quick Dick McDick? How long you been doing it?
It's been about a year, I guess, just a little over a year.
That's it?
Yeah.
God,
Yeah, straight up.
How many subscribers do you have now?
I don't know, like 60-some thousand, I think. I don't watch it that close.
It was 60-something. I looked today.
Yeah, but like it's, I'm nowhere near where you guys are. And so but like, I don't know.
But in the first year, that's pretty dang good.
Yeah, I'm not sure like the metrics on it, and I don't watch my subscribers and views that close. Maybe I should watch them closer. I should try and watch my comments closer too. But like I guess I kind of don't, and I should.
It's hard when you're just one person.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I get the feeling that you might be a little bit like me, where you're just not that worried about the metrics. You're doing what you like to do, and if somebody wants to watch, that's awesome. But you're not going to sit down and worry about the numbers on it.
You couldn't have said it better, Zach. Actually, it's just, we can go back to where I started the stuff. I started putting this stuff up because I just wanted people to laugh. It was a huge part that had kind of been missing from my life for quite some time because of a whole bunch of different reasons that I had going on at the time. But I just remember missing laughing and just being able to just laugh all the time. And I started doing this. It was at the start of this motorcycle trip that I was talking about a while ago. I'd changed my phone number and a whole bunch of different things. I'd completely left the career and life that I had in Northern Alberta behind to come back to Saskatchewan. And I wanted to get away from like social media and a whole bunch of people and everything. And I was like, just go kind of back to my roots. So I was leaving on this huge motorcycle trip all by myself, and I kind of had no concrete plan. And I've got a mother that worries quite a bit. And my one brother, I've got two brothers, one older, one younger. They're incredible, amazing individuals. And my one brother was like, dude, you can't just kind of leave and not be like, hey, I'm here today and I'm alive and it's no big deal. And I was like, well, I'm not going to text everybody every day. He's like, he convinced me to download Snapchat. And he's like,
terrible idea.
Like the worst idea ever, right? And he's like, just put it to your story once a day, so then you don't have to text 20 people or whatever. He's like, just put to your story like where you are and put your face in it so we know you're alive and it's not somebody else with your phone, and that's all we need to do. And I was like, okay. So I did it. And I kind of got Snapchat figured out. And I was like, do you guys know Big Mustache Al from my videos? He's
Nope.
okay. Well, he's in a few of them, and like on the Tough Mo at 10 is like the news broadcast that I do sometimes. And he's the guy that does like the weather report and stuff. And
Yeah,
I have seen that.
ones. Okay, yep.
so that's my dad, right?
Big guy that usually has the coveralls.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So he, they heat their house completely with wood. They've got electric if they need it, but he heats it with wood because
That's
he will
not
not.
the standard in Canada?
It's not, believe it or not. But I mean, it's definitely a go-to. Right? But because he's like, I'll never pay carbon tax or any of that stuff or whatever. So, anyways, he cuts a lot of his wood on my land. And he had a bunch of it cut, and we needed to split it. So I was stopping to spend 4 days at home on my way through to Eastern Canada. And I was like, well, what are we doing? And he's like, well, we're going to go out to the cutting block and we're going to split some wood. I was like, all right, neat. Sounds good. So we grab a handful of beer and jump in the truck. And it's his old truck that is called Woody, is what he calls his old truck or whatever. It's the one he uses for logging. No license plates on it. And, he's got a gun in the middle of the seat in case he sees a coyote on the way out there or whatever. And then there's a bunch of empty beer, so many empty beer cans behind the seat that it's kind of tilted forward a little bit kind of thing. And a bunch of used tools on the passenger floor because nobody ever rides passenger in this thing that haven't been used in 3 years and everything. And there's no mirror. And I found an old hat, and he had an old hat on that was just in there. And I'm like having this beer. We're driving like down this old trail on our land out to the cutting block. And I just looked at it and I was like, this is the funniest thing I've ever been a part of in years. And I was like, what would be funny? Keep in mind, I've only got my 2 brothers on Snapchat right now. Plus maybe 4 other guys, like really good friends of mine that are like chuck wagon racers and stuff like that. And I was like, what would be funny if this was an infomercial selling firewood? Like, how funny would that be? And I was like, I'll be a guy named, I don't know, I'll be like Quick Dick McDick. That's, for some reason, that's the name I picked for my Snapchat handle. Because I was like, no one will ever find me if my name's Quick Dick McDick. Like, no one, ever, right?
So this wasn't like a high school nickname. You just
No, well, not that I know of, but you never know what you call behind your back.
Not to your
right?
face anyway.
And I was like, and he'll be Big Mustache Al. And the name of his business will be Big Mustache Al Ventures from north of Tupelo, Saskatchewan. So I started doing this Snapchat story, and it was all about like just making fun of wood. And like, we have the hardest of wood at Big Mustache Al Ventures north of Tupelo, Saskatchewan. And ladies, do you need your bush trimmed? And like, we were just going through a whole bunch of this stuff or whatever. And like the 4 people that I had on Snapchat, the next day were just like, that is, and like things got like left-handed really fast. Like oh man, there was some gold that went into that. I did a little thing on YouTube where I like had some of it, but not all of it made it to YouTube because you would never be able to put that to social media anywhere because you would be canceled instantly. And everyone is just like, you got to send me that and send me that. And like the next day, I've got like 300 things on my Snapchat, people wanting to be my friends on Snapchat. And I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are. So I just started putting accept. So this went for like 6 months on Snapchat where I was Quick Dick McDick, and I would do like 1 60-second Quick Dick every day. And it would just be anything. Like if I was blowing off the combine, I would make a Quick Dick called Blow His Equipment and make a whole bunch of jokes about blowing, Oh
my God.
And it got to the point where then everyone started asking, send me this one, send me this one, send me this one. Because on Snapchat, it's gone after 24 hours. And it should be gone because some of the stuff that I put up there, and I know people have screen recorded it and stuff, that's going to come back to haunt me someday and I will never be able to get away from it. But I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to put this to YouTube. I'll put it on a channel there and you guys can just watch it as much as you want. I don't care. So that's what I did.
It started as a way just to be able to put your stuff out there to people that, like, basically to your buddies that wanted to see it.
Yeah, everybody kept asking me to send them. And I hate my phone and I hate talking on my phone and sending text messages and stuff. So just like, it's on YouTube. Go find it there.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool. I mean, how do you come up with the new ideas?
It's crazy because I feel like I don't have enough time to do all of my ideas. And now I've found myself in a bit of a rut here in the last little while. I've done a whole bunch of ads and stuff for local groups and agricultural groups and a whole bunch of stuff. Like in the last, I'd say the last month and a half is pretty much all I've spent all my time on, is just trying to help promote groups and a few different things, because I spent a lot of time ignoring them and not helping them, because I was like, I've got a YouTube channel to do. And I was like, I need to focus more on if people are interested in who you are, what you're doing, and they want to be like, hey, can you come on to our, you know, our live stream or this or that? Like, I want to try and do more of that to try and help different groups out. Right. I don't know. It's just, there's something funny in everything that happens. And unfortunately, in some things that happen, you shouldn't find things that are funny in it, but you find things that are funny in it anyways, depending on what your sense of humor is. Right. But you just need to have a really open mind and just be like, I've got a list of like 40 things right now that I want to do videos on that I can't seem to find the time lately to do. And I'm sure you guys would probably know better than anybody. Like this stuff takes so much time to do.
It does.
For sure.
It kind of got to the point where I couldn't keep up. I've got a merch store with t-shirts and all this stuff or whatever. And I do all of it myself. I box it, ship it myself. I order it all in myself.
I've got the cure for that.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Do not let me forget. Message me on Instagram.
Yeah, you got it.
I'll get you my phone number. We'll figure that out for you.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah. It's been a lot of chaos, but it's been a lot of fun. I've met a lot of really cool people. And I just, I keep a little running notes thing on my phone when an idea pops into my head of like what would be fun to do a video of. And I'll just like put it in notes, and then I just kind of go through my notes. But there's been a lot of politically crazy things happening in Canada here lately, which I hit on a lot of political stuff every now and then. And I try and do it as political satire kind of thing, which is like, it's almost getting to be a thing that you almost can't even do political satire anymore, because people just get so freaking
mad.
crazy.
Yeah.
Like they just lose it. We can go back to batshit